Hey dreamers, this is Jade and I'm here to do my March journal flip. So I'm going to start with the cover page. It's very simple. I have been lettering out the months of the year, January, February. However, I've decided that I want to just start using the stencil that I made to do that. So I have used that for March. I've started my April entries, so I use it for April as well, and I will continue with this throughout the rest of the year. So here I just use green because St. Patrick's Day, yada yada yada. And then we get into this first day here, which was of course March 1st. And I was excited this day because I had planned on going to the library, my local library, this day. I hadn't been to the library in years, so long so that they had taken me out of the system. I had to get a whole brand new card and everything. And my inspiration for actually going to the library was the TikTok videos from Michael the librarian. I just love him. He is such a ray of sunshine. So happy, so enthusiastic about the library. So I was like, I haven't been to my library in forever. It's not that far from my house. So I decided I was going on this day. And as you can see, here's my receipt. So I checked out, I think it was like 5 books. I have since been, I have read those books and returned them. And then I have also listened to several audiobooks and read several digital books from Libby, the Libby app, and borrowing it from my library. So it's a great resource if you haven't been to your local library in a long time. Definitely, and you're into books, definitely hit up the library. It will save you a lot of money because a lot of books that I ended up reading, I had wanted to read, and usually I would just go out and buy it and read it. But then sometimes it ends up being something that I read and I know I don't want to keep. So it's like just stuff sitting in my house and stuff I want to get rid of and whatever. So with this, I can at least try it out, read it. If I like it, then I can get a copy. And if I don't, then, I read it and I don't have to have a copy just taking up space in my house. So that is great. So here are just a couple of pictures of the library that I took outside, my library receipt for that day. Of course, I found a picture of Michael the librarian. If anybody's looking for him on TikTok, I think he has since taken a break because there was some drama going on where, of course, someone being negative had to say something like, I feel his dark energy or some bullshit like that. And he struggles with stuff. So he's taking a break. However, since I've heard that he has been contacted by PBS to do something with like maybe children recommendations, I'm not exactly sure, but shout out to Michael for that opportunity. I hope it's going well for you. I hope your mental health is going a lot better for you and everything like that. You are an inspiration to a lot of people, so just keep doing what you're doing and don't listen to the haters, okay? And here is the picture of the book stack of the things that I borrowed from the library. So yeah, that was my day at the library. Had a very good time with that, and looking forward to actually going back in and getting some more physical books, as I still rent out the digital and audio books as well. So yeah, on the second day I was having I get some every now and again. I get these very, very severe stomach cramps. I don't know what the catalyst is for it. I don't know what I can do to stop it. I do take these things called peppermint spirits. I just put some drops in my water. That helps a lot. And then also I have noticed that when they come on, if I bend over, then that usually helps them fade away a lot faster. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's IBS, but it's weird how it comes on. I mean, it can be so strong, and then they're gone. So I don't know. So I was dealing with that. And then also this day, I think I had a conversation with one of my best friends on the phone. So yeah, because that's why this is here. Because we had been, I think I had started the watch party between me, her, and another of our friends. And so when we do that, of course, we're texting in the group chat back and forth about what's going on in the show. We were watching One Piece, of course. And she said something in the text, and she just kind of like breezed over it. Like everybody just kind of breezed over it, but I caught it. See, I'm observant. I pay attention to stuff most of the time. Um, and I was like, oh no, this warrants a separate conversation outside of this text message thread. So I definitely was like, no, no, ma'am. I called her and I was like, I need to know what is going on. I was like, we breezed over this in the text message, but I feel like it might be something that's deeper than, you know, the attention that was given to it or whatever. And she assured me that everything was okay and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's what that conversation was about. Because I was like, hold up. No, ma'am, we're not going to be breezing past this thing here. And so I'm not sure. I think I started The Last Airbender here. I had previously prepped myself with watching the anime or the cartoon that was on Netflix before, because I knew they were coming out with the live action and I wanted to watch it. So I had prepared myself and I started the live action Last Airbender, which ended up being pretty good. I like of course, I like the cartoon better. I think most people did or whatever, but I think they did a pretty good job translating it to screen. Looking forward to the second season. So, and this was March the 5th, and even though this says 6 here, I messed up. It's actually March 7th. So, this day I had to go. I usually do early voting, but I was like so off kilter this time that I actually ended up going to the regular vote. So on the regular voting day, which was for us March 5th. And so this is just my polling place where I vote. I got my little sticker here. This was my photo of the day. As you guys know, I'm trying to take at least one photo a day. And yeah, so just wanted to make a record of that I did go out and do my civic duty. Also, I stopped by. I had been needing to make a dentist appointment for a while now, and the first time I went by there to make the appointment, why were they closed? They had a sign up saying we are closed for like not demonstrations, but like they were, I guess, guiding younger people into, I don't know, it was some reason they were closed. And I was like, great, because it's usually they're open at the time that I went. So I finally made it back there and actually made the appointment, which is actually coming up on June 4th, which is tomorrow, because I am doing this voiceover on June 3rd. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to getting into there and seeing what's going on or whatever. It's been a little while, because, of course, of COVID and everything like that. I usually go every 6 months, but that knocked me off course with COVID because they canceled everybody's appointments. And then I just personally, afterward, once everything started opening back up, I'm not that girl, okay? I'm not here for that. I just was not thinking about somebody, even though they are masked, somebody hovering over my mouth, putting things in it and stuff. So I'm finally trying to get past that and take myself back to the dentist's office. So did get that done. And I ended up watching Devil at the Crossroads, which is about Robert Jordan. And there was this whole myth, this whole myth about him that he was a blues singer from like back in the day, okay? And very popular, but his popularity kind of came out of nowhere. I wouldn't say it came out of nowhere. Let's just say at first he wasn't as good at his instrument, and then he like went off somewhere for a little while and came back, and he was very prolific. People loved his music or whatever, and people say that he made a deal with the devil, and that's how he got his talent. And so I've always been fascinated by this story, and there's not a lot of information about this man. So they had this little short documentary, I think it was like 45 minutes, on Netflix. So I definitely ended up watching that. And if you are familiar with Supernatural, they actually kind of have there's a show about it, when the hellhounds are coming to get like a lot of different people or whatever. And it starts off with the guy playing the blues or whatever, and he starts hearing the hellhounds. And then Dean makes reference to Robert Jordan and how he had made a deal with the devil and yada, yada, yada. and it was good. Okay, I love Supernatural. That might be where I ended up learning about Robert Jordan. I'm not sure. I feel like I knew about him before, but as I said, I've always been fascinated by the story. I'll get into more of that later. And yeah, anyway, so I wanted to record that. I did end up finally watching that. And then here on the 7th, I just was dreaming. The dreams were dreaming, and I wanted to make a record of that. Y'all, the time I had trying to make this pocket here with this tab, and I ended up changing out the tab to this and then putting this here. And so I like the way this looks much better than what I did in the actual Journal With Me video. And then I also was watching The Gentleman. Excuse me. I thought that Guy Ritchie had like signed over his rights to this story. No, ma'am. This is a Guy Ritchie production. Okay, so they have there was a movie called The Gentleman, which I love because it has my boy in it, Charlie Hunnam. And that was actually the last movie I watched before the in theaters before the panorama hit. It was January 24th. Yes, I remember that. 2020. And I love The Gentleman, the movie. Like, love it so much. But I love Guy Ritchie. I love his style of storytelling. And so when they said this was going to be a series, I was like, I'm definitely watching it. It was so good. And it was still Guy Ritchie. Like, he is at the helm of it. And you could tell it was definitely his style. And so it was just fantastic. Loved it. I can't wait for the second season. Oh, I do hope they have a second season. I need to look and see if it was renewed. I'm pretty sure it has been, though. I mean, I think it was very popular when it first came out. So, yeah, anyway, March 10th. Yeah, I was confused, okay? I was confusion this day. I did not realize, as you can see, spring forward with the question mark and the exclamation point, because I did not realize that the time was changing on this day. And how I found out was texting with my friend. I think we were doing another watch of One Piece, maybe, and she mentioned it, and I was like, excuse me? The time did what today? Because I had no clue. I seriously thought the time changed when the spring equinox was. Like, it was like the 19th or the 21st or something like that. I think the 19th. But anyway, yeah, I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. But anyway, this day I actually had started trying to make this flower clock. I did not like the way it looked. You can see that in my journal with me. I'll link it somewhere. And I didn't like it. So I ended up covering it up. And I like the way the cover up turned out. I mean, because this is just perfect. Spring forward. And I have this bunny like springing forward. Great. And then this girl, it's given spring. Okay. So I'm loving the colors in this. That's what was going on this day. And then on the 15th, I have this weird thing about me I've realized going on with myself. It must be some kind of internal clock or something. But I ended up making a vision board this day for myself. It was very spur of the moment. It was something I did late at night that I was putting together or whatever. And then that night when I was going through my one line a day journal my one line a day journal, I was just reading. Of course, you put your entry in, but I also like to go back and read what I did years prior. So I have 2 years already done in my one line a day journal. This is my 3rd year. And I made the vision board. So that's what I was putting in there. And then I went back to read the other 2 entries. Why on the other 2 entries on the same day I made a vision board? Making vision boards is something usually completely spontaneous for me. It's not something I schedule or plan or think about. I usually just start doing it. Like one day I'll be like, okay, I'm going to make a vision board, and I just start doing it. Okay. The fact that I have made vision boards on the same day accidentally for 3 years in a row is super weird to me, but also kind of fantastic and cool. So yeah, I just wanted to get that down or whatever. And this is just a mini version of the vision board that I ended up making. I did it in Canva, kind of tried to make it simple for myself. So yeah, and I've made all kinds of different vision boards before. But anyway, moving on to the 22nd. This was a good day because I ended up getting my order from Chic Sparrow, which is, I believe it's lavender. I think it's a number 10. But I got the pocket size and I got the unlined pocket size. So it's very floppy leather. But I have been loving it so far. I use it to cover my mini bullet journal, which is an ink it notebook by Create with Pen. I have since set up for June. I just posted that. And it looks like June will fit in there. So that's 6 months. That's already doing better than my Lois term, which I still love those. Lois terms, I was be able to fit 5 months a piece. This one, I'm getting 6 months, and it looks like it's going to be enough room for at least 1 to 2 more months in there. So we'll see. I'll keep you all updated on that. But I'm just glad that it's lasting a lot longer than my Lois term. So yeah. Anyway, I got that this day. I was very excited about that. So I'm not sure if if it's open, I probably film my unboxing this day as well. Yeah. And then later that night, I watched the documentary on Freaknik. So watching, I was not very impressed with this documentary. There was a lot of things that, now I wanted to know more about Freaknik because of course you know, you grew up hearing about it or whatever. And when I went to college, I had just basically missed like pretty much the last year of it, because I graduated in '99. And I think 98 was the last year people went, and it was just such a hassle that it had basically got canceled, or people have decided that they were no longer going to continue doing it. Freaknik was an interesting phenomenon. The way it started out was very uplifting and whatever, and then it just kind of over the years devolved into other things, which in a college environment you do see happening. You have things made for kind of college students or whatever, and then when like the locals want to start getting involved, then it kind of starts going downhill or whatever. I have experienced that myself at my own school, so I kind of get it. Yeah, it was a mess, but I wasn't, to me it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. It was informative, I guess, but it just wasn't that great as far as a documentary goes. And it kind of, I don't know. I'm going to not share that part of my thoughts with this, but whatever. For the most part, it was informative, but it just wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, especially considering the hype of, oh, they're going to make this Freaknik documentary, and everybody freaking out that they thinking that they were going to be on it, and yada, yada, yada. So, moving on the 30th, y'all, the time I had with this, okay, look, okay, this was a good day. But I had a package that was coming from China. I had ordered some stuff. I believe it was Soto Studios or E-Star. I'm not sure exactly which one. However, it got lost, of course, once it got to America. My mail person lost it somewhere. She misdelivered it or whatever. And so, of course, I opened up a whole thing about, you know, my package and da-da-da-da. And I've been back and forth messaging with the mail people about my package. And then they messaged me saying, oh, okay, well, we're going to send her to look for it, but you should also contact the people that you ordered from and let them know that it's missing. And my thing is, I personally didn't want to do that because it wasn't their fault that it was missing. It's y'all's fault that it's missing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all were the ones that messed up. They did their part. So I was just, by that time I was fed up with the whole thing, and I just surrendered it. And I was like, you know what? I started talking to my spirit team. I was like, you know what? I did my part. I was like, my part was ordering it and paying for the shipping. After that, it's out of my hands. It's supposed to come to me. It's mine. I did my part of this. And even contacting them, I did my part. I don't want to do any more. I'm tired of this. Y'all got it. I'm giving it to y'all. No less than 15 minutes later, that package was in my hand. And I don't know where it came from. I don't know if the mail person found it and put it in the mailbox. I don't know if it was actually at a neighbor's house and the neighbor just stuck it in the mailbox or what. All I know was 15 minutes later, that package was in my hands. So, I'm letting you know that you all, yes, you believe it or not, I don't care. You all have a spirit team. They are all looking out for you. It is their pleasure to serve you. Okay. So if you got something, ask them, or something once you have exhausted what you can do in reality, in this real world, in the physical, once you have exhausted what you can do, hand it over to them, okay? Because it's no longer your fight. Don't fight it anymore. Don't try to do anything else. It's not for you anymore. Give it to them. They got it. So that was my lesson for the day. And I have kept that with me. And I'm trying to surrender myself even more with things that once I've done what I can do in the physical, I'm not messing with this no more. Y'all got it. Y'all fix it. Okay. So yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that. And if you have any experiences with that yourself, please leave that below in the description box, because I would love to read about it. So that's basically what was going on this day. I was just absolutely done, and they came through. So, and this is my March faves. So let's go through it. My favorites for the month, as far as my watch list, of course, was Devil at the Crossroads. Very informative, as I was saying. What I've learned from this, okay, the superstition about him making a deal with the devil. I believe that, okay, so in the documentary, you learn that the type of music that he makes, people love to, especially church people, love to lambast it as the devil's music, the devil's this, the devil's that, or whatever. And so I think two things occurred here. I don't think that Robert Jordan actually made a deal with the devil. However, he came from a place where they did voodoo or hoodoo, I should say, or whatever. And people, of course, love to denigrate, degrade, and lambast things that they do not understand, especially spiritual practices that belong to black people and or African Americans, that a lot of it kind of originated in Africa, and they had to adapt it to where their present circumstances or whatever. And so people, they hate what they don't understand and whatever. So I do think two things happen, as I was saying. One, I believe that, since people were saying, oh, this is the devil's music, blah, 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 I think he first just leaned into that. Like, okay, you think I'm playing the devil's music? Let me go into this and say, hey, let me give the devil his props or whatever. Let me act like, yes, I made a deal with the devil. And then also, I think he perhaps just also leaned into like hoodoo and stuff like that, and spells and rituals and things of that nature. And of course, any kind of stuff like that can be black magic or whatever. But from my understanding, most people use those religious practices for good. So anyway, I just think that's what occurred, especially watching that movie. I don't think that this man made a deal with the devil or whatever. I do believe that he was just like, how people like to tell you what you can't do, and you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna show you type of thing. Or people will be like, they're this, that, and the third. And so, okay, the people are like, okay, well, I'm gonna show you that. If that's what you believe I am, then that's what I'm gonna be, type of thing. So I don't know. I appreciate it. So it's an interesting story. Watch it. And then, of course, The Gentleman. I talked about that earlier. Great. Guy Ritchie, Chef's Kiss. And then I watched that movie Damsel with Millie Bobby Brown. I actually enjoyed it. Yeah, I saw people hating on it or whatever. Just for a fantasy movie, quick fantasy movie, I thought it was pretty good. So I enjoyed that. And then my complete watch list for the month of March was Age of Samurai, Avatar, The Last Airbender, Devil at the Crossroads, Empire Games, The Gentleman, The Program, Damsel, The Octopus Murders. There was a lot of documentaries going on this month. Love is Blind. Woo, child. Love is Blind this season was a boondoggle. It was a hot mess. There are no words. Like, it was so much drama going on with this. But it kept my attention. Let's put it that way. It was way better than the season before. So, and then I have been trying to get through the Rurouni Kenshin movies. So yeah, I think I started that. Yeah, the prequel. So I did watch the prequel, Rurouni Kenshin. And then, can I tell you a secret? Freaknik documentary, Apples Never Fall. I was disappointed in that. Like, it was good up until the very end. Like, the end was so, oh, then all this only happened because of circumstances. I just didn't like the ending. It was so anticlimactic to me. So, yeah. And then Rurouni Kenshin, the first one. So, my suggestion, if you're going to watch all the Rurouni Kenshin movies, there are 5 of them, but the first one came out first, and then years later they did the prequel or whatever. My suggestion is to watch the prequel movie first and then go through the order of them, which is what I've done. I've actually just finished up the entire 5 movie set. So yeah. Anyway, and then The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. And then as far as what I was listening to, Wes Nelson and Craig David had come out with this song called Abracadabra. It was like a like a super fast version first, and then they slowed it down. They came out with a slowed down version, which I personally love. It's such a good song, and it's like a quick song. It's like 2 minutes and change or something like that. So love that song, and he actually did it. I went to see Craig David on the 16th, 19th, something, 16th, I think, of May. And he did the sped up version, but he did do Abracadabra. And then of course James Arthur, and he had this song. Well, the song is called Sun Comes Up, and there's another artist on it. However, I think that artist is just like the people who made the beat or whatever, because it's all his lyrics, it's all his voice, you can tell. So was loving that song. The first time I heard it was when I was on my way to the library and on the 1st, and I've been listening to that. So both of these songs were really like in my ear this month. And then my book list, my 2 favorites for the month, they were both 5-star reads. My absolute favorite for the month was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I listened to that on audio. It was so good that I will be getting a physical copy of that. And then Harlan Coben, The Match, which was a sequel to The Boy from the Woods or something like that. It's about Wild. And the way it ended, I want to know, I'm curious to see if there's going to be another about him, which I would definitely be interested in reading. So that was good. And Harlan Coben, I just love him. All his adaptations on Netflix. I've since started reading the books here and there, and I have not been disappointed yet. So yeah. And then my entire book list was Dust and Decay by Jonathan Mayberry, 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, which was just okay. Book Lovers by Emily Henry, Crave by J.R. Ward, The Last Kingdom by Bernard Cornwell, Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop, and The Match by Harlan Coben. And that pretty much wraps up, that pretty much wraps up my March journal flip. If you have any comments or questions about anything, then please leave those below. I trust that you all have been safe and well, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!